Everybody on that needs to be on? Are you all here? Let's see.
I think so.
Is Lori Dean on there?
Not yet. Waiting for her. Looking now.
Hi, JD.
Hey, JD.
Hello.
Samantha? Lori
Yes,
says
sir.
she can't open Microsoft Team. It wants an ID, whatever that means.
Give me just a second. Let me go look.
Sure, thank you.
Is there a way for you to tell her it is 666
Hang on. 666
789
789
541?
9541 666 789 541.
Yes, sir.
All right. 666 789 541. All right, we'll see what happens. Becoming too techie here. Thanks everybody for their patience.
Well, it shows her on now.
I am on.
All right. All right, everybody's on. So let's get started. Thanks everybody for the patience. So this is called to order the Independence on a Roll Working Group, January 11th, 2021 at 4-ish. Members here, Lori Dean Wiley, Dan O'Neill, Councilman Mike Huff, and John Perkins. Has everybody looked at the minutes from December 14th, 2020? Anybody see anything that needs to be corrected, or does it look okay? Any additions or subtractions? Hearing no corrections. Motion to approve the minutes of December 14th.
Second.
You want so move?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, gang. All right, moving to number 3. So I have an update on recent transportation grant applications and impacts on recommended projects, including Truman Connected, Inglewood Roundabout, Truman Winter Intersection. Lisa, Mike, I will turn that over to whoever wants to start there.
Well, I'll go ahead. Councilmember Perkins. Hello, everybody. We are going through the approvals of the final recommendations for grant cycle this time around. Regarding the Truman Connected project, we did receive funds of approximately $700,000 of the $7.3 million ask. We anticipate that would put us down to about the 23rd Street intersection from Winter and would build upon what Truman Connected Phase 1 would build back to the east of that. The Truman and Winter intersection improvements, that has been from PSP from 2015. That has been funded fully through the STP cycle. And then, of course, as we had discussed at the last one, the roundabout in Inglewood had scored poorly and will not be receiving funding in this cycle.
All right. And part of the Inglewood scoring lowly, that was, these projects are more of a regional, larger traffic area grants that we were kind of going after, and that just didn't meet part of that expectation of having a larger traffic volume coming through.
Correct. The biggest part of the CMAQ or congestion mitigation air quality submittals is that there is a major environmental impact on nitric oxide production and carbon monoxide production, and neither of those even tip the scales on that scoring criteria. So when that accounts for 70 out of 100 of your points and you get 0 out of them,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to get any sort of score on that application.
Sure. For that roundabout, is there anything, as we're kind of brainstorming, that we could apply for that would maybe fit that a little bit better, more in the mold of what we're trying to do over there?
Well, I think at the last meeting we had discussed possibly taking that into an STP or a transportation alternatives funding. That would have to be more of a corridor review. We are taking a look at what aspects or boxes we can check off on that. So we're digging into that a little bit further. Also, we went back to the initial PSP for the Inglewood traffic circulation plan as well. Right. And was looking at some of the other options that they had given. So we're going to be working with the Inglewood Business Association relative to those recommendations as well.
Great. Anybody have any other questions?
I do. It's Laurie Dean.
Sure.
Last meeting, I had raised the concern about the speeding and the need for some stop signs or something to control that instead of waiting for alternative funding and a roundabout. Has there been any additional thought into how we can protect the pedestrians in that area now?
We have looked into that. Some of the findings from the traffic circulation study, I believe it was from 2013, was their first recommendation was to eliminate the 18th Street intersection with the Northern and Winter location where we were talking about the roundabout. Mm-hmm. We are taking a look at whether or not we can sequence and phase that that traffic signal, especially if we eliminate the 18th Street connection to it, to possibly make it to where the traffic signal is attenuated. So as vehicles approach it, they will see red, and then it will recognize, okay, I have an eastbound movement coming through. I will cycle over to green, so they will be temporarily stopped as they enter the intersection. I think that's some very quick opportunities that we're digging into even further to make sure that is a plausible recommendation.
I just know that it's from Sterling in to Inglewood that I have risked life and limb several times. So way before that 18th Street or Northern Boulevard, which is kind of the end of the Inglewood corridor. So more at the Sterling end of it coming in. I mean, I know the speeding's got to be 45 miles per hour down there. So that would be my concern is slowing them down when they're entering.
What about speed bumps?
We have been in conversations with the Inglewood Business Association. That was one of the first things that they had brought up. The problem with speed bumps is that traffic calming has to score. We have a traffic calming committee. The findings from those traffic studies was that it scores 19 out of 30, and 30 is the criteria that warrants traffic calming activities.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so it scores very low on that. The other part of it is winter is an emergency route, and speed bumps are not utilized on emergency routes as we're trying to get emergency vehicles to where they're going. We don't need them slowing down as well. I'd rather if my house is on fire, I'd rather they be driving as quick as they possibly can. And I think that's going to be for any other circumstance as well.
How hard is it to get stop signs? One up by the gallery there, which is right in the middle.
We have been reevaluating stop signs and making sure that they are warranted. That is still being taken into consideration.
Okay.
At this time.
I just don't want somebody to get hit and we learn the lesson from a lawsuit, so.
So Lisa and I met with the EBA a couple months ago. She was going to, and she shot them some ideas of what some pedestrian calming devices may look like. I think the last time I left it that they were going to kind of discuss it amongst themselves and get some feedback to Lisa and I. Have you heard anything back from them, Michael?
I have not. Lisa, have you heard any feedback yet?
I got a couple questions just on pylon cost and things like that I need to assemble for them. And then they did like a couple of the ideas about the artistic crosswalks and either channelizer, the pylons being used as channelizing to narrow traffic way through there, or artistic curb extensions to visually narrow the traffic route through there. They were kinds of fans of those ideas. Again, we have talked about revisiting the idea of a stop sign. But again, all of the traffic study data so far says that neither speed bumps or signs would be warranted. The last speed study we did through there had traffic was about within 2 to 6 miles an hour of the posted speed limit. And like Mike already said, the score was pretty low, but there are some visual things we can do with that corridor to make it appear visually more narrow, tends to slow traffic down, and then that stop sign would be another option. So, but yes, the EBA did get back with us about a couple of requests and suggested ideas that they like, so we're pursuing those.
Cool.
Thank you, both of you.
Thank you for that. Absolutely. So touch base again with the Truman Connected with the now the 700,000 for the design portion of that. Is that part, have we worked with the design firm to get that locked down and locked in for that?
Well, the 700 that I had referenced, Councilman Perkins,
Yeah.
is for future construction along Sterling Avenue for STP grants or CMAQ or transportation alternative. Those are for construction, not design.
Okay. Perfect. Any other questions on first topic? Moving to fourth topic, update on Square Streetscape design. Adam, I'll let you jump in and start the discussion, please.
Sure. So our staff has been working on the scope for design for both Truman Connected and the Square Streetscaping project, attempting to utilize the same design firm for both to, achieve some kind of economy of scale and continuity with design and everything else. And through their hard work, we were able to negotiate a scope and fee of $294,000, and we plan to present that at the next city council meeting on Tuesday.
Okay. And that is just for the Square Streetscapes. What was the design cost for the Truman Connected? Will that be on at the same time as well?
Yes, sir. The Truman Connected there'll be one agenda item for consideration of the Truman Connected design, and then one item for the Streetscape design.
Okay. And just to reiterate, so we went through a committee review at staff level to pick out a design firm that could do both work and to do it at the same time cohesively, to do the design work on the square, as opposed it doesn't make sense to move forward on these projects and have two different design companies having to do design work that are going to be up there.
That's exactly right. Because a lot of the Truman Connected project, or much of the Truman Connected project, goes through the square. So these absolutely fit together and complement each other.
Right. What are we looking at for dollar amount for the Truman Connected for that design work?
Mike may have to refresh my memory on that one. I'm trying to find that. Do you remember, Mike?
Now, this Truman Connected, just to refresh while we're looking for the number. Now, this goes from the Truman Library to the first phase was going to be to Truman Road, or first phase from Truman Library to Winter and Sterling, but it sounds like we're able to maybe connect that up to 23rd Street.
So the design for the first two phases is 580.
Okay. I was thinking 550, but 580 is right there. Okay. And that funding source is coming from federal grant funding, am I correct? I mean, that is not, what is that? Refresh me on the funding source.
So the construction funding for the Truman Connected Phase 1 is from Surface Transportation Programs, or STP grants. So that's the biannual grant cycle that Mid-America Regional Council hosts. And that would be reserved for only the construction at an 80-20 federal match. So 80% federal, 20% local match.
Gotcha. It's still a pretty good split.
And did you guys get the number for the total Truman Connected design costs, Adam?
I think phases 1 and 2 are 580. Was I pretty close there?
That sounds close. I'm getting that number here real quick. I can update the group in just a minute. All right. Thank you to my project manager working on this one. 466 is the first phase, and what's being taken to council on Monday is through the right-of-way phase, and then 2022 appropriations will take care of the second half of that project. So the what we call the final plans phase of that project.
So the 460 was phase 1 only, right?
So 466 was phase 1. That gets us all the way to Winter and Sterling. And it is split into right-of-way plans, which is 230,000 and some change. And then the what we call final plans, so post-acquisition, post-right-of-way plans would be the 235.
I'm sorry, Mike. So what did you say? So phase 1 was 466 altogether. What was phase 2?
So phase 2 is just what we received as part of the grant cycle for 23-24. So we have not scouted out that yet.
Oh, so the design is not for phase 2 then?
No. So design, yeah. So design, what we just will be receiving according to the current grant cycle would be 23-24 money. That is a separate conversation to what we're having with the consultant that we're moving that towards council's approval on Monday.
Thank you.
All right, just so for my note and clarification, phase 1 is what we will be considering on the 19th of Truman Connected. And then phase 2.
No. So phase 1 through the right-of-way plans.
Gotcha.
So we will get everything drawn up so we can do what they call the A date or the acquisition date that is awarded through the STP process. Then the second part of that set of plans would be what we would actually use to construct the improvements. That will be a later council meeting after the 2022 appropriations in the budget.
Okay, I think I have that straight now. Thanks, Mike. Any other discussion on the update on Square Streetscape update?
Yeah, I'd like to kind of know the tenor of the council. Like, what are you hearing?
Well, I haven't spoken to a lot of individuals yet. We do have some conversations coming up.
I guess my question, how can we help best? How can we get vocal support? Do you need any additional vocal support?
Well, any support to the project is always welcome. I mean, this is a very important project to the heart of our city to help revitalize our downtown. This committee voted unanimously with no dissent to move this forward to the city council body to take a vote and a stance on. This has been a work that's been going on since the Downtown Redevelopment Committee, which the city council voted unanimously to move forward so we can have all of these documents and plans together with the Independence downtown as being the center focus of this. So any type of support from our community partners and stuff. I know I've reached out and have given presentations to the Chamber of Commerce, the EDC. So we have endorsements from the Independence Chamber of Commerce, the EDC, Inglewood Arts, the Inglewood Business Association, the Truman Library. Dr. Kurt Graham has written me a letter of support. The Rotary Club of Independence, and I'm sure I'm missing one or two, but we've got quite a business support and community support for this. So, and I would encourage individuals to reach out and speak in favor for this, for sure. I mean, this has been an ongoing conversation for several years. Well, any questions, comments, more? Then we'll move forward with putting this up on the for consideration on January 19th. That's a Tuesday because of Martin Luther King's birthday is on a Monday. Moving on to the next topic, update on Truman Depot Restoration and Trail Project.
All right.
We would like to jump in.
That was kind of a tag team. I think Eric and Mike were both going to talk a little bit about it. I don't know who was going to kick it off. Mike may know more about the status of the grant funds that were going to be used and where we are right now with the project. So Mike, do you want to kick it off and then Eric can jump in there?
Absolutely. So we did have, of course, the $203,000, which is through the Transportation Alternatives Program, that we did ask for the extension and received acceptance of the extension. So we're good on that one for another year extension. Currently, we've been working back and forth with the railroad on the diagnostic review that was completed on October 15th. We met with them, I believe it was on the 22nd of last month, to go over those findings. We had replied in kind with the questions that they, or recommendations that they have put forth. That was completed before the end of the year. And then we are currently waiting for feedback from the Union Pacific Railroad in regards to our comments to their comments. Our target would be to go ahead and get this moving forward. Again, we are just waiting for the railroad certification to approve the plans that have been submitted. We have reviewed this through MoDOT, and they perform a plans, specifications, and estimate. And we have all but the final checklist, and there's a little box that says the railroad certification must be received, and that's the only thing we have left to receive from Union Pacific Railroad. Of course, Union Pacific Railroad is a big thing, and we're just at the beck and call of them giving us the final thumbs up.
So
Yeah,
no time,
thanks, Mike.
yes, if you had to throw one out.
Mike, I'll let you answer that.
Eric has attended at least one of the many meetings that my project manager and I have attended, and needless to say, he feels our pain. I think what we were talking about some clarification on the number of trains per day that has been updated as of last Friday. So my target would be middle of this week to reach back out. So that way we're not jumping down their throat by any means, but at least we're reaching back out and making sure that everybody's still on the same page. I anticipate getting that done middle of this week.
Great.
Yeah, I think it's also important to note that a lot of work, though, has been done, especially over the last year or so. The architectural and engineering team, they've completed their work, absent of any adjustments that they have to make based on Union Pacific's comments. Staff has also commissioned some ancillary studies. Those are also completed. Those studies included such things as the lead and asbestos testing, period-specific interior decor research, as well as even a specialized paint sampling project that we had commissioned as well to try to match up the right kind of colors that were specific to the 1948 era that might have been in that building. As Mike said, MoDOT reviewed the plans, and again, we're waiting for Union Pacific. Once we receive those, the A&E team then can put together the final specifications and the CDs, and we can go ahead and get that out on the street. As Mike said, we anticipate moving that forward and getting that done pretty soon. I've been pushing really hard to have a groundbreaking scenario later this spring. Everything short of just planting my flag in the ground, saying we're going to do it. Union Pacific actually has a lot to do with that, but we have given them that timeline as well. It's time for this project to get underway officially, and I think we've been very, very patient with those folks, and it's time to move this along. So the anticipated groundbreaking would be this spring, and at least for the depot, we are planning to do a rededication of that late summer, early fall, if all goes well. Trail scenario may come in a little bit later, but at least the depot itself, hopefully we'll be reopening that here late summer, early fall 21. So we're getting close.
Are we promoting this, the new depot experience and throughout our travel agencies and guides that, those who like to ride the train and travel?
Yeah, we have those queued up and ready to go. Again, until we officially get something back from UP, we're a little hesitant on officially pulling those advertising triggers. But I can tell you that we've been talking a lot with MoDOT and their River Runner program. They've been keeping tracks on this project for a number of years. They're really excited to get us back on their offer list and making this a major stop along that route.
As we're been talking about the Truman Connected, what a great little offshoot that would be from that main trunk to go down to the depot with a nice route, to at least have some good wayfinding to come up to the Independence Square, to do their shopping and dining and visit right there. Any other thoughts, comments?
Yeah, John, I have a question. In the planning, one of the things that I've noticed about, I made that trip over to St. Louis on that line several times myself. And I've had conversations with people, and the big thing is that people are concerned about the safety of their vehicles and personal safety using that depot. So when we do the planning, we want to make sure we got plenty of lighting and fencing on the parking lot. People are avoiding using that where the train stops. They're going to Lee Summit or they're going downtown instead. So because they're concerned about safety. So we want to make sure we got plenty of lighting. And another question I have, is our intent to have somebody there at that depot most of the time during regular hours?
Yeah, let me take those questions in order here. So first, yes, security was part of the overall design concept. So we were looking at some enhanced lighting, but also security cameras, things of that nature out there as well. During the day, during regular hours, for all of the train stops except for the night train, yes, it is our intention to have the depot staffed. So theoretically, we looked at the Kirkwood, Missouri model, where they have period-specific folks that are there to greet you when you get off the train. You're shaking your head, so you've been there. Hopefully, it works really, really well. Yeah, it works really well, and that's what we're trying to achieve. So they would be volunteer-based, but we will have some full-time staff that will be able to cycle in there as well. So that would be staffed theoretically, all except for that night train, which I think comes in at 8:30, if memory serves.
I actually had a really pleasant experience with Kirkwood Station because I had made several trips over there, like I said, but one of them I actually stopped at Kirkwood, and while I was there, the mayor of the city actually came into the station and was visiting with people that were there. So, I mean, I'm not saying we need our mayor, but we need to, know that we need to have people there to welcome people to come in. I mean, that was pretty impressive. The mayor of the city came in there and was telling us about his community and stuff. So what I'm saying is it would be a really good opportunity for public relations.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Part of that, part of the development over there, Eric, will it be landscaping to provide some better security and take some down of that fencing that's on the backside there with the greenery and stuff that kind of lends to not being very safe?
Yeah, we've actually started some of that selective clearing already, but we'll be doing more for sure. We're also considering long-term what to do with the caboose that's there, because that is a visual obstruction as well to that parking lot. So we don't have any decisions yet on that, but we'll be coming forward with a proposal about perhaps relocating, maybe still on site, maybe not, just depending on where we might find a good place for it to be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that update. Anybody else have any questions or comments for Eric or Mike? Hearing none. To other business. Any other business or comments the committee members might have, or anything from staff they would like to update that we might have missed or circle back around on?
Well, I was going to add is that you did get it sent I hope you all got it. I think we had to do it twice maybe, but the updated project chart from the downtown DRCC report, which is the on-roll work group is kind of monitors the progress on all those. So it's updated. It reflects all those the grants that Mike reported on, all the ones we got and the status of the ones we didn't, but it does talk about the ones we got. So anyway, you might look at that. It's updated information now.
Thank you, Mark. For a future meeting, I know we've been working on 24 Highway and moving forward with that. Are we at a good spot? Would it be appropriate to have a brief update about where we're at on that for next month? Does staff feel comfortable moving forward with that?
I'd refer that one to Mike and Lisa and Adam, whether they feel like we're ready for are we in a good position for the councilman was asking about doing a 24 Highway project update at the next meeting.
I did hear that. Yes, we can give update on 24 Highway.
Okay. That'd be great. That's a big project. Like to stay abreast of and see what's taking place there moving on. And as always, well, we will adjourn and make a motion to adjourn if nobody else has any thoughts or comments.
I actually have one question.
Sure, absolutely.
I just noticed JD's on. So welcome, JD. I just wondered from a perspective of economic development and the on the roll committee, if there's anything that you're working on that we could help you with and vice versa, to gain support for these, I think, I don't want to guess, but 17 projects coming down the road that will hopefully be passed, all be seen as beneficial to the neighborhoods in which they're going to help. And just kind of want to, as our name suggests, keep on a roll of seeing these things get passed and seeing the dollars used wisely, but mostly seeing through maybe economic development in your role, really good positive vibes and communication and, lack of a better word, publicity about what we're working on for the good of the economic development of our city. So just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts.
Well, certainly, thank you. And I appreciate the opportunity and the invite to sit in on this committee. So Councilman Perkins and I interface on a couple of different projects that are ongoing. And I've been in touch with city staff, and of course the EDC supports and monitors and follows these things, but we also want to be an advocate for these types of projects when it's appropriate, and certainly when you are seeking legislative approval, such as the city council, we're in a position to to talk about that, to help and to lend a voice to why it's important, and along those lines why it's important. The built environment, we know that makes a difference. The vitality of a community, the walkability, the interconnectedness. These are things that people are looking for in a community. And it's kind of cliche almost to say it anymore, but to the extent that your community lacks those things or your aged infrastructure no longer can support, ADA accessibility and things like that, you really have to attack it, have to address it, because the message it sends to the marketplace is that we're not investing in our own city. So every one of these projects is key, not to mention the greatest strength that I see in Independence in terms of making my job easier is that there is so much talent coalesced around each of these projects and each of these interests. It's not just the city staff or the city council or a particular couple of volunteers. It's all of you coming together. So it really makes my job easier when when this community says we're willing to invest in the infrastructure, both the built environment and the vitality of the community, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. And that's kind of what Mike Baxley touched on about a month ago when he presented to the city council about the Inglewood Arts Update, that one of the things that really helped them and spurred their philanthropy and their donations and people taking an interest of what was taking place in Inglewood was the fact that the investment in sidewalks and development there really helped spur that development on, because if the city was willing to take that investment on and move with that, then obviously there's something to be had here. So absolutely. So thanks for everything you're doing, JD.
Well, it's my pleasure. And again, we'll be supportive. I know we owe you an updated letter for the meeting in front of the city council from the EDC regarding the streetscape.
Yep.
Yeah. Good.
Any other good thoughts? All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Hearing none, I'll make a motion that we adjourned until next month. Get a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. See y'all.